Welcome back to another video. My name is Matt and I help people overcome retroactive jealousy. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I finally, after 13 years, cured my retroactive jealousy OCD. All those intrusive thoughts about my partner's past that I just couldn't stop thinking about. How did I finally put an end to them once and for all? I'll tell you exactly what I did, and I'll try to narrow it down to basically three main things that you can focus on to get the same exact results as I did. And yes, I understand if you watch this channel normally, usually I'm standing up or something. Today, I thought I'd just kind of take it easy, just kind of be very personal with you, nonchalant. Maybe I'll have my water here, take some sips of water. During the filming, get a little more personal. I don't know why I'm not sitting on the couch, instead sitting on the floor leaning against the couch, but let's not worry about that right now. Before we get started in this video, if you could take a quick moment and smash the like button so we can get this video out to more people that really need to see it, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so retroactive jealousy OCD, this OCD habit of thinking. We get this thought about our partner's past that doesn't sit well with us. And so we feel the need to do this compulsive behavior. That's the C in the OCD, compulsion, because we feel this anxiety, right? This anxiety, this fear, this not so good feeling flares up within us, and we feel as though we need to do something in order to calm this anxiety. And that's what keeps this loop alive. That's what keeps the thoughts coming, is us doing these compulsive behaviors. So once I figured this out, like, hey, if I'm able to not do these compulsive behaviors, since these compulsions are what fuel these thoughts to continue to come, basically every time I do a compulsive behavior, every time I explore the thought, every time I ask a question of my partner, every time I look for answers, I'm actually making it stronger. Then I need to stop doing these compulsive behaviors. That's kind of what I figured out for myself. And so the main thing that, and this was kind of a quote that I had found at one point in time, and the quote basically said, a thought is only powerful because we put our power in it. Okay, a thought is only powerful because we give it power. We're the ones giving it power. And there's another quote, and I might butcher the name, but it's adeshanti, I think is the name. And it says, and his quote, it says, thoughts in your head are no different than the sound of a bird outside. It's just that we decide they are more or less relevant. So these thoughts about our partner's past, again, are no different than us hearing the sound of a bird outside. Chirp, chirp, chirp. What happens when we hear the sound of a bird go chirp, chirp, chirp? Nothing, right? We hear it, or maybe not even hear it. We're just kind of aware that it happened, but that's it. It means nothing to us, right? So these thoughts of our partner's past have that same effect. They have the power to mean nothing, right? They're just thoughts. Just like the thought of hearing a bird is a thought. The sound of a bird is a thought. A thought of your partner's past is a thought, right? Same power. We're just giving these thoughts of the past more power. So when I kind of grasped that idea, and then grasped the idea that doing these compulsive behaviors were making it worse, asking questions making it worse, exploring the thoughts were making it worse because I was giving it power, I decided to stop doing the compulsive behaviors, to stop exploring the thoughts, to stop putting my attention on it. And of course, you know, this wasn't an instant fix. The thoughts would still come up, would come up a lot, but every time it did, I just basically say to myself, no, you know, I'm not exploring you. No, I'm not giving in to you. No, I'm not listening to you. And then I'd have to refocus back on what I was doing. Now, if you're like me, I got a thought every 5 to 10 seconds. It was constant. So obviously it was a lot of work to continually say no to these thoughts as they came up. No, I don't need to explore you. No, I'm not going to give you power. No, you know, you're just like, you know, hearing the sound of a bird. No, you know, you're not going to pull me in. Kind of like that all the time. But that's what I had to do to break free of this cycle. And as soon as I started doing that, not exploring these thoughts, I started getting better and better. When I stopped doing these compulsive behaviors, when I stopped asking questions, I started feeling better and better and better, started loosening the grip. So that's the first thing that I did was not giving these thoughts power, not exploring the thoughts, letting them come, feeling that emotional response. It didn't feel good, but saying, no, not today. Exploring you will do me no good. I'm going to go back to what I'm doing now and refocus. Now, the next thing I did is understanding that exposure to fear helps us not be afraid anymore. And you can know this with anything, or, relate it back to maybe something in your life that you were always very afraid of. And then as soon as you did that thing you were afraid of, all of a sudden you weren't afraid of it anymore. You exposed yourself to a fear. And I give the example sometimes on this channel for like a fear of like water or a fear of swimming. Somebody might have a very, very big fear of water or swimming. And it's understanding that it's not the actual water that scares them. It's the feeling they get when they're in the water or around the water that scares them. It's that anxious response, the same response we're getting when we think about our partner's past. However, they go up to the water, they're very fearful of it. They get in the water, they're very scared, right? But then they come back the next day and do it again. They get in the water and they're still pretty scared. Then the next day they come back and get in the water and they're decently scared. And then the next day they're okay scared. And then the next day all of a sudden it's like, that feeling of being afraid is no longer there. Their exposure to the fear has told their brain that, look, I'm okay getting in the water. I'm not dying by just getting in the water by swimming. It's okay. And so that fearful feeling starts going away. And when that fearful feeling goes away, now it's easy to get in the water. And so understanding that, relating it to retroactive jealousy, my OCD, thinking that I'm fearful of these thoughts, that's why I'm feeling these very painful emotional responses, all the anxiety, everything like that. If I expose myself to it as I do, as I would like swimming, or as I would do like being afraid of heights and things like that, if I slowly expose myself to these thoughts, knowing that they're not going to harm me, it's just the feeling that I don't like, and I can just kind of feel the feeling, know it's just a feeling, and know it's going to pass, then I should get the same results as anything else you expose your fears to. So I purposely would expose myself to certain triggers and things like that. If there were certain songs that triggered my OCD, triggered the anxiety, I would listen to them. I would, deliberately listen to them, conjure up the feeling, and then understand that nothing's going to harm me. It's okay. If there was a certain restaurant or something that I knew, or made me bring up thoughts, I would say, let's go eat there. Let's go eat there. And I purposely go there and purposely feel it, purposely expose myself to feel that uneasy response, but realizing that nothing happened to me. Like, I felt bad and that was it. I didn't die. Nothing was wrong. I just felt an uncomfortable feeling, and then that was it. It passed. And then certain thoughts, certain things I would purposely do. And the more and more and more I did that, the less and less and less pain I started feeling, because my brain was going, whoa, like Matt thought all these thoughts, and I released all this adrenaline into his system because I thought he was in danger, but it turns out he's fine. He's not in danger. Nothing happened to him. It's just like the water. I thought he was in danger getting in the water, so I released all this adrenaline, but he went back for 10 days in a row and got in the water and nothing happened to him, so I'm not going to release so much adrenaline. There's no danger there. Same thing with these thoughts. That was very, very powerful for me, very, very effective. And then very soon, these thoughts would come up about the past, and I'd have no fear of them whatsoever, no emotional attachment to them whatsoever as far as anxiety goes. And so the thoughts would just kind of come and go. And now, when a thought doesn't have any grab to you, when there's no anxiety with the thought, you don't even think about it anymore. Just like the bird outside, you don't think about the bird chirping outside. You don't think about it. And so that's the same thing with these thoughts. There's no emotional response to that bird chirping outside, unless you were like, when you were younger, you got attacked by birds or something. Then you might have an emotional response to the sound of the bird, right? It's what we put our power on. But as far as, generalized, if we hear a bird outside, no emotional response, right? No emotional response. And that's the same as it is with these feelings of retroactive jealousy, these thoughts. No emotional response. Very, very powerful stuff. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about, I discovered, and it has to do with the second point I brought up. And I discovered it kind of myself. And then later on, I heard a really good quote that described it even better. I'm going to share that quote with you in a second. But this idea comes from an author. His name's Neil Donald Walsh. And basically what he says is, we need to no longer fear our negative emotion. Okay, no longer fear our negative emotion. Instead, we need to start looking forward to feeling the negative emotion, because every time we're feeling a negative emotion, that means that's a sign for us that we're able to step out of our comfort zone, that we're able to feel a little bit of discomfort, but the more discomfort we feel, the more it pushes past our comfort zone, and the more we become awakened, the better human being we become, the better life we live. And so his little quote was, he's now comfortable with his discomfort. Every time he gets uncomfortable or feels discomfort, he goes, yes, there's that feeling of discomfort. Yes, 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 this is a good sign. He almost flips it. Instead of being, oh, a negative emotion, oh, discomfort, this is not good, I need to escape it. He says, yes, negative emotion, good, this is the opportunity for me to grow. This means I'm doing exactly what I need to do. And we have the power to do that. And that's different from anything that anybody's ever taught before in life. If you feel negative emotion, you need to escape it. If you feel negative emotion, you need to sue somebody. If you feel negative emotion, you need to, protest, whatever it is. But now if we say we want to feel negative emotion, feeling negative emotion actually means it's good. Wow, now all of a sudden we're changing things. Now all of a sudden we're looking forward to feeling negative emotion, knowing that this is an opportunity for us to grow. Now I'm going to play you a little clip, and this is the actual quote from Neale Donald Walsch, his actual voice talking exactly what I said, but his quote is obviously, it comes from him. It's much more descriptive and better sounding. So roll it.
So in the moment that I start feeling uncomfortable, I go, oh, there's that feeling of discomfort again. Yes, yes, bring it on. I'm actually comfortable with my discomfort, if that can make any sense. You understand the divine dichotomy? I find comfort in my discomfort. That, I'm not really sure, means I'm absolutely sure. It means that the highest part of myself is speaking to me in a way that vibrates throughout every cell of my body, that I used to call discomfort and that I now call a signal from the divine. Move into that, not away from it. Every time I have denied myself the experience of my own greatness, it's because I've moved away from rather than into my discomfort and locked myself out from my place of joy. Not once in a while, not now and then, every single time.
All right, so what did you think? My favorite quote, literally, of all, it changed my life entirely. And I didn't hear that until after Retroactive Jealousy, but I use that in life and business and anything. If someone says, hey, let's go do this together, and I go, oh, I don't know if I want to do it, I stop myself and say, there's that discomfort. That discomfort means, yes, I do it. I should do it. And I've shared on this channel before, last summer when I jumped off of the Stratosphere Tower in Las Vegas, the 1,000-foot tower. I've been afraid of heights my whole life. And I used his method of that, I'm not really sure, I don't think I should do it. And I told myself, no, that means I'm absolutely sure. I absolutely should do it. I just flipped the emotion on its head. And so I did it. And guess what? As Neale Donald Walsch says, every time he didn't follow, he locked himself out of his place of joy. I did it, and I unlocked more joy, more confidence, more ways to experience life in just incredible ways. And so I hope that quote resonates with you, that idea of being comfortable with your discomfort, of when the thought of your partner's past comes up that makes you feel not so good, you say, nope, everything's perfect. That means everything's perfect. That means it's good. And that goes with, the exposure, because you're exposing yourself to the thought and you're saying, I'm good. This means everything's okay. And it also goes with not putting your focus and power into thought, because when you feel that and you say, no, everything's good, that feeling means I'm good. That feeling means I'm going to keep pushing forward. That feeling means I'm moving closer to my place of joy. We're not going to start exploring the thought and try to rationalize and try to get rid of this negative emotion, because we don't need to. That negative emotion means we're doing everything correct. Very powerful stuff here. Very kind of out of mind, out of what we're taught stuff. And so understandably, so if you don't understand this completely 100% right now, that's totally okay. I got a lot of other videos on this channel that kind of goes through this stuff, more ideas. You can look more stuff online about this stuff, but this is really powerful. And those are the three things that I really did to break free of this OCD habit of retroactive jealousy. It's nothing on the outside. You got to remember that. It's nothing about going in a time machine and changing your partner's past. It's not about dumping your partner and finding somebody with less people or less of a history, because again, you're going to suffer from retroactive jealousy either way. Like, it's going to show in other areas of your life. It's going to come. That always happened to me. Every time I thought, oh, your past is too great, I need to find somebody else, I found someone with less history, and I suffered more with the person with less history than I did with more history. I wanted that one back. It doesn't work. Nothing external works. This is a you journey. You fix in here and everything else fixes itself. It starts and ends here. Put all your focus here and do the things we talked about in this video, and everything else falls into place. Everything else falls into place. And just keep in mind, it's not the thoughts that bother you, it's the negative emotion that bothers you. But when you're no longer bothered by the negative emotion, it will dissolve, it will dissipate, and it will no longer be there, and you will be free. If you enjoyed this video today, please take a moment and smash the like button so we can get this video out to more people. Also, subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Click the notification bell so you are alerted every time I post a new video. And if you want some extra help, if you want kind of more in-depth explanations on what we talked about today, please check out my 3 courses are available now. You can pick the one that works best for you. All 3 of them will help you overcome retroactive jealousy. You can, again, pick them individually, what works best for you, or you can buy them all in one nice, affordable package. And practice what is taught in all 3, but all 3 offer some very different perspectives on retroactive jealousy and very different ways to overcome. Very powerful stuff. It worked for me. I know it will work for you. That's it for today's video. Thanks for hanging out next to the couch with me, being a little chill with me today. I really appreciate it. And hey, have a wonderful day. See you in the next video.